Thanks.
Welcome to Dojo, everyone. It's Wednesday night, the day before the full moon, December 3rd, 2025, post Thanksgiving. And it's really wonderful to be here. And I just want to welcome everyone. And hey, thanks, James, for moving it on Monday. I had no internet on. I want to bring Clinton back in and
Please. Yeah.
and I want to honor on the chat. He had a very influential stepfather that he was speaking about earlier, and what a wonderful musician and a real maverick in the town. So, Clinton, will you come back on and talk about? I'd like to honor him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just saying, I was lucky because he came into my life at that time. I was like 9, 10, really, really growing into my person. And I feel like a lot of people in our group of friends here, I always ask the questions, the hard questions, that grown-ups don't want to hear from a small person that is thinking well beyond where they're at. And so, like I was saying, I went to school in fifth grade. I wore a Clockwork Orange T-shirt from the movie, and my PE coach was like, "Oh, that's my favorite movie." And you start to realize that, like, oh, these are humans, and like, not everyone is just the role that they play. There's actually a character below that and everything. And so he really just he taught me how to work. He he taught me how to be myself, or more comfortable being myself, but just like that punk rock mentality for the underdog completely. So I was ingrained with some really, like you were saying, the maverick mentality. You don't really need to ask for what you want to do. You just do what you feel is right. But he definitely touched people, and it's been neat to kind of, I don't know, it's weird because I don't get really emotional over death, is what I was starting to tell you. When I saw my grandma die, I was right next to her in the bed, and I saw her energy leave her body, and my fear of death left me then, like instantly. It was just like, wow, there's more to us than the meat sack. And so it's like when people pass, I don't know, maybe I haven't wronged uh, anyone like purposefully. And so maybe because I don't have bad blood, I've never had to deal with, I mean, I've lost plenty of people, but it's always kind of like, I don't know, more tears of joy. And I think of the memories more than pain.
Oh, that's really wonderful. Well, on the chat, Clinton put a video up of his stepfather singing, and the lyrics in the song were really like radical, and it was just really touching to think that on fourth grade that you got to have this role model. Like you said, you rolled the snake eyes, and sometimes we roll snake eyes when we get we don't always get everything that we want picked out, but then when you get something like so good, and that's so good, and then to say that you can have that on your conscience, that you don't have bad blood, and that you don't have that. When people have grief, it's like because they withheld love. They're angry at someone, they haven't done their forgiveness work, and then they're just like there just with themselves, like, and I'm just watching that, like, I'm just like watching that I was in Arkansas, and there's my dear friend is caretaking and power of attorney for her neighbor, and this it's just really difficult to see people make all of these choices and never like do any reciprocation, like I don't know, like healing work when it comes to saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I mean, just no work. And she's just, making these really, well, her choices might not be the choices that would be easier for my neighbor who's the power of attorney. She keeps doing crazy things, like she almost burnt her house down with a space heater. And, like when you're trying to caretake someone and tripping hazards, and then she had she cleared her whole house so she could come home, and she really wasn't safe to be home. And then my friend did all that work, and then she, 2 weeks later, and everything's back to exactly how it was. And I think we have to allow people choices, and but anyhow, there's a lot of grief um, in regards to watching people, for me, like, keep their hearts closed. And anyhow, some good topic tonight. I'm feeling a lot of feelings. I don't know, the weather, holidays, being in that situation where, we had Thanksgiving at her house so that the shut-in neighbor, we could bring her over. We had help to bring her over, and then, she just chose not to come over and chose to stay in her house. There's a lot of passive aggressive behavior. People don't really want to, maybe they don't want to be around people. That's okay. That's their choice. But there's just a little bit of a holiday stuff. So anyhow, James, your little short was cute about the fentanyl. It was it was cute with the in a cute, sarcastic, and disturbing cartoon
Hmm.
about about how. And I think it has to do with like this these isolation, like everyone's in these little pockets of isolation, and we keep getting more isolated and more isolated and more isolated. And it's like, I don't know, the fentanyl, or being I mean, I think the drug addiction,
Hmm.
it's big. It's just really big.
Yeah, I'm really amazed at how much the normal culture is interesting me right now. Um, Seeing where people are at, kind of understanding like there's a dude that's like used to be a Fox News host and he got promoted to Secretary of Defense. Then he renamed it Secretary of War, and then he was so gung ho that he was like, let's fucking kill somebody. And everyone who works for him is like, yeah, let's fucking kill somebody. I mean, this is really what happened. And ultimately, you end up knocking out fishing boats in the. It's not just the Caribbean; it's the Pacific too. It's just all over the place, and you're watching all of society. I don't even mean this in a negative way. Watching all of society behave so poorly, just to be like fuck yeah or fuck them or they deserve that or no one fucks with us or I voted for this. Like just the things that you hear. I could tell you how disgusting they are, but I've already known this for years. That's why I tend to not stay in the subject. But it does show you where people are at, Mm. where most of the psychology is at. In a large 31% of the electorate thinks this way, thinks in terms of let's go fucking kill someone. It'll feel cool. It'll feel cool for us to go kill someone. We'll go down to ops. We'll get in our sec nav and have an am stay with a clearance of a scram rat and all this other bullshit and acronyms. So I'm making these letters up, but it sounds cool. And you're just like, let's go fucking do that. Then you got people that are like, yeah, let's do that. Then they do it. Then they dry clean their uniforms so they could look nice the day that they kill someone that they have no fucking idea who it is. None at all. And it's no different than a bunch of kids hanging out. This is a true story. A bunch of kids hanging out in like Nevada or Arizona or Utah or Idaho, some fucking place. And there they are, and they just see this homeless guy, and he's hitchhiking, and they get to know him, and they realize he doesn't know anybody, and then they just, hey, you want to go shoot cans with us? And they're like, yeah, let's go fucking shoot some cans. And then he goes to hang out and shoots cans, and they just realize we have complete anonymity. These guys are out in the middle of nowhere. This guy, no one knows who he is, where he's going. And they, in the power of that anonymity, they're like, hey, we could just fucking kill this guy. And so they do. They just kill him. And they keep the secret for like a year or two, and then they start bragging about it, and then of course they tell them themselves, and this is this is the psychopathy. It's not like a smart, intelligent American Psycho, Dexter, I got plastic everywhere thing. I mean, sure, maybe that's out there, but most of it's not. Most of it's real low tech, ramrod, hyena level. I'm mad. I don't even know why I'm mad. I'm mad about some ancient thing that was done to me probably hundreds of years ago, Lori. Like it's that. And I'm just a living creature of just angst and revenge. And I'm not saying that's wrong. Those people are trying to find self-worth and they can't unlock the self-worth until they find revenge. This is a very true statement. I firmly believe that this is fucking true. If you grow up with a thorn of injustice in your side, if it's inside of your family with, say, a sibling, I'm just kind of hypothetically making this up, but say a sibling that has a different raising point than you did, and that the entire time you just cannot let go of how fucked up this feels, and you don't really want to go back into the world and smell flowers because you just want to fucking figure out why this is happening. And so those of us who are able to see these things alchemically in our lifetime, we're just holding all the gold, aren't we? Like it's
Mm.
so much fucking gold that we could even see that, because most of the people are just like, let's fucking drone strike a fucking fishing boat. Let's call it the fog of war. Hegseth even said, "Hey, it's the fog of war." It's not the fog of war, dude. You're in a trailer in Langley. There's no war. You're drone striking with a joystick, a PS2 controller. This is not a war for you. This is a
But
video game, and this is most people. It's been most people. It will continue to be a good chunk of people for a long time because consciousness is waking up.
well, and then, you're watching, I don't know, there's just like there's no history. It's just whatever's been said. So now you got Venezuela under no fly zone,
Hmm.
waiting for whatever.
Yeah, and who fuck knows what was really happened? What's already happened, probably.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't. And I was speaking to a friend of mine, and he's an older gentleman, and I brought up the strikes, and most everybody else, kind of felt like, yeah, that's something a little extrajudicial. It's not right. But
Hmm.
one of them said that, oh, well, we got to do something. Venezuela is their pirates are blowing up shipping vessels every day.
Hmm.
It was just telling in the sense that he didn't need much sort of thought about it or justification at all. It was just like,
No.
and that's nothing visceral to his experience. He doesn't even know that any of this is going on, but it was just so rote for him. He's like, oh yeah, we got to be killing those folks
Yeah, we're the good
because,
guys.
yeah, right,
Of course, we got to kill them. We're the fucking good
yeah,
guys. That's what we do.
and the idea that process or do sort of or that even there should be some justification in terms of the individuals you're killing did not matter. And of course, I
No.
know that's just what we're talking about. That people just want that bloodlust.
Yeah, and it shows you how important law is. It actually shows you how delicate this system is held together. The psychology, I swear, is just very minute threads. It's imagine that there's a 1,200 pound bull, and all it takes to keep him away is a 1x4, like a simple post with just a simple piece of wood, right? It's like that. We are so delicately, precariously perched on this principle of justice. And quite frankly, I've been trying to tear down that core in my past, and I'm realizing, dude, you don't need to be fucking with that. Like this is the less anonymity you have, the safer you're gonna be. And this is me working for them. I could not be more Luciferian. I'm telling
Oh,
you
you
right
so much
now that
are.
that yeah, that the evilest thing that we face right now is anonymity. That subconscious gives you the ability, let's go fucking kill something. Let's do it. And it would be fucking high. It would give your brain the exact kind of juice it would need to maintain that flame of consciousness until you can undo the revenge bullshit that's in your past, so you can start to feel remorse, which, oh my God, how expensive is that? Wait, you want to fucking feel remorse now? Holy fuck, man. That's a long road. And many people have just been on that road for longer, kind of like what Clint was saying earlier. It's like I just don't really have that kind of stuff in my blood. Neither do I. I'm not cutthroat enough to where it's like I'm gonna fucking lie and say that the French government's trying to kill me with $1 million hit on my head because I need more patrons. I'm not gonna do that. just don't fucking care that much about that part of it, you know? And it sucks because if you want to survive in this world, you're finding out that these things, the people that are succeeding are the ones that are less conscious because they have more abilities to
You
build
got
the
to keep
system.
talking to them, James, though, because no offense, you look like them. You
I
know what I
look
mean?
like
Like
them.
you you present as a friendly to those people who have their lights off and just they have no compassion because it's us against them. It's this
Mm,
they're so afraid of like a new world order, a fucking universal income for people who can't eat and want. They don't understand that we wouldn't need them. When you bring up the bull, it's hilarious because the bullfighter without the cape and the whole game, if you don't run, the bull doesn't fucking chase you. Like
mhm,
we don't need them, and no one will stop for 2 seconds to just think about that because we're so busy hating a false enemy. Because if you remove the border and you claim indigenous and you just love the land, then everyone would wake the fuck up. Like
mhm,
I'm just as angry as you could be, and but at least you're kind of talking to the retards, the fucktards, because they will respect what you say. You're a veteran. You fucking look whiter than white, even though you're indigenous. You know, they
mhm,
don't know that. You know how many times I filed Native American on my taxes when I used to do that, just because they gave you the option.
mhm.
So it's like, what the fuck are you gonna like? So I don't know. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing. I think people, you're reaching out. You're hitting some heads. I think
Well,
really, really
man, thanks a
well.
lot. I mean, I definitely want to pollinate the world. I'm also pretty selfish though, and I want to survive too individually. And um, I, 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 the latest experiments and the shorts and the video that I released, the fentanyl video, I started to write that on Sunday. I began from the beginning, so no pre-work. And so it took me like a day to write the script and then 2 days to animate that. I think it might be faster. It could be that the next one's faster because I've built a lot of like the underground newsroom set and things like that, and different characters have been chosen, and I've just done things wrong. It's been a huge learning exercise right now. I don't know if these videos are a smart idea. I don't know if I'm shooting myself in the foot and if I should just be back into live streaming. But I'm kind of like right now, I'm thinking that I sort of kind of want to take, since there's no hands up, I hope you don't mind. I'm saying I kind of want to kind of take the rest of the month to really focus on videos. I'm not saying don't do any live streams, but just not. There's not like a schedule. There's none of that. Maybe like a Friday one or something like that. But even that, or maybe more like tonight, I could just be live streaming this and just, but instead just lean into this only to see if it is a better way to communicate, because I'm telling you something, the when I'm not the one having to deliver it, I get to pull out a lot of my personal concerns about how I'm going to be perceived and just let the
Yeah.
character do the talking, you know. And so I'm really excited, but also I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if these things are going to take off number wise. You know, it it's also lifelong
The
dream of mine
animated shorts, though,
to be a cartoonist. Is That's like a lifelong dream of mine. So it's also very selfish. I'm trying to tell you that there's a lot of selfish things when I'm doing this. I can't believe how much work it is, but also it's just so much joy because I'm still able to communicate politically, artistically, entertainment aspect wise, but it is very different to spend basically 3 whole days on 4 minutes of video, you
Well,
know.
I hope that the universe provides you monetary support for doing something that you find joy in.
Hmm.
Because trying to pollinate the world without doing it joyfully
Yep.
is not really good pollination, as far
You're
as I
right, Lori.
can.
Very
Yeah.
wise. Yeah.
back to last week, last dojo when we were talking about the sugary sweets. When you serve it up, those animated shorts kind of like donuts in the middle of the night, and people can metabolize that. They're actually chasing that type of a thing. because I think that you have such a dank palette when it comes off. It's just there's so much, and so if the aperture's not there and you don't have the posture to get through it, but I think that the average person is like what, uh, 12 to 14 years of emotional maturity. So, I mean, if you look at most of the television shows that kill it are animated. That's how we're willing to take real subjects now. It has
Yeah.
to be served up in little comic books. I'll shut up now. Thanks, guys.
And actually, I
No,
think
don't. No, Quentin, thanks.
Don't shut up, Clinton.
the real people are delivering in comic relief. I mean, you've got JP Sears, you've got, you know, he's doing a news report, comedy news report, and it's like, showing the news and whatever that's called. It's a type of comedy. So go ahead, Brad, your hands up.
Yeah. I think that you're absolutely on point. Comedy generally does is the easiest way to get into tough subjects with people, right? But to comment, and Clinton, like you're talking about James, and I agree, he's doing a good job. But something that I've been learning as far as I used to come at everybody sort of full steam with where what I think or where I'm at. And over years, I've started to learn the aspect. So I have a family friends that I was with over this past weekend, and they're Christian. And as I think some of y'all know, I used to have a real problem identifying as Christian because of all the things I don't like about it. But just to demonstrate that point, these family friends of mine, we where I met them was when as a kid went to church together. They've always just imagined I've always been a Christian, and when we sort of started talking, I didn't object to that, right? I didn't say no, I'm not, or qualify it, right? So anyway, we're having these conversations and we're talking about these topics, and I'll just put it this way: I realize rather than trying to sort of make my point, if this makes sense, rather than trying to make my point about what we were talking about, and we were talking about ice and we were talking about snap, instead I just was talking sort of on that level. If you can, y'all know what I'm saying as far as like connecting with them. But I was just holding one point that was not that far out there, but it was just pretty salient as far as the ice, and they were using the justifications of why ice had to be. And being that they were Christian, I was just leaning on the simple fact that, you know, the idea of Christianity and what Jesus was teaching would not be accord with how ICE is operating. And it was just interesting because I didn't get in my feelings about sort of getting up in range. I just stayed in that place, very calm, and just stayed there. And what I'm saying is, I know stuff that probably did more good than some of the shit I post on Facebook, right? Because my friend, she kind of got into tears trying to defend her position and say what she was saying. And after the fact, reached out and told me that our conversation had caused her to rethink a lot, you know. And then I saw them again today, just to say it was the fact that whatever it was I was trying to bring to the table, right, Clinton, it was heard mostly because I was not combative at all. It was just like I was just sitting in that place and just holding a note, if that makes sense, right? And I
Absolutely.
didn't, yeah. And so that's pretty much what I was adding.
Yeah, I can't. I'm so autistic in that way that when I watch the people get basically executed, the Caribbean, I'm emotionally attached because this is wrong. It's
Yeah.
serious. It's a real life. So if I try and go to Twitter, for example, I'm met with just some of the most callous, just awful. Oh my fucking god! Like I want to go kill that guy. I'm saying I fantasize about. Hey, this will be a way. I should invent a vaccine. I should create a pandemic and invent a vaccine and call it, and actually tell people, look, you guys need to choose right or left, and that this vaccine is going to kill the half of you that is evil. And you would do a bipartisan campaign like this, and then only the partisan people would end up taking this fucking. Anyway, this is how fucking sick I am. I am one of them. I am.
But
I
see,
am. I
that's
am
why,
one of them.
That's
James, like,
cool, right?
But in order,
Everyone that was stupid would be dead.
yeah, yeah.
We'd be left with all the
Anyone
compassionate
partisan,
people.
anyone a majoritarian would basically. But see, if I can step back from it and not be so exposed to the moral wrong through satire, through the cartoon, it might be better. It might be. I'm not saying it is. So I have a sketch now that I wrote today. I don't know if I'll end up filming it. I've been practicing more writing sketches because it takes so long to animate the sketch, but to write it takes, holy shit, it takes so long to write it. It really does. And half of it's not written. The comedy comes later. But I've written a sketch that is instead two veterans travel to Colombia and take an RPG out and kill a fishing boat because the fisherman killed their friend because he OD'd on pills. So it's like I can go there, but it's in a very different. It's I'm going there as three MAGA veterans that ride around on motorcycle, and one of them got addicted to fentanyl and OD'd on it. Like there's no one human there. It's all hypothetical. It's all it would be the necessity I would need to not be so invested to where I'm so how can you think that? Because that's how I feel on Twitter. How can you fucking think that way? How can you fucking think that way? What the fuck is wrong? Like that's where I get because where else do you go with someone like that? Where else do you fucking go when they're just like, yeah, I think you should kill them all. You should kill like it's like that or yeah, we should round them up. I fucking voted for this. It's like that. It's just like how
I know, James, but like then I'm saying, like, if you're a person that has this level of compassion and you want to kill these people, is it any different? It's like the same thing. It's like we're warring and we're warring and we're warring against ourselves and we're warring against 5-year-olds. Like I think Clinton, they're not 12. I think they're like 5. Cartoons are like 5 years old. I mean, like, satire, maybe you can get that like 12 years
The
old. Mad Magazine.
the average reading level, I think, in the U.S. is 5 to 7th grade, 5th to 7th grade, and then that emotional maturity were like early teens at best.
At
And
best.
that's anyone who's raised a child. That's anyone who's made it to there. Anybody who's hasn't done any actual work or ran into any personal walls and decided to be accountable for that. And we don't teach that. And then it's I don't know. I think we're getting there. I don't like you said, James. It's nothing's broken. This is definitely how it functions. It's
yeah,
And
well
then and then there's other thing that I just kind of have noticed because, there's a lot of stuff that goes on at Thanksgiving and families, and then you start talking to people about their families, and everyone's playing this happy family. And a lot of Christians play a lot of happy family. And then if you like listen long enough, you're going, oh, you got that uncle in jail? What did he do? Oh, he murdered 2 people. No, no one talks about that. No, but it all that murder and stuff is in everyone's family. It's like they call it family constellation. So it's like whatever's like hidden in your family, all those secrets in your family, it's playing out in the psychological Watiko in your brain. And
right, but we live in a world where most of these people they prescribe to the three Abrahamic religions where you pretty much just say whatever you want right before you die and you're good to go. And so there's no accountability for any of this stuff. When it comes down to it, I love the meme where it's like the colonizers are looking at the native dudes and they're like, "You savages worship the sun and stuff like that," and they're like, "Yeah, but it's real. Uh, we
yeah, it's real.
believe
And
we
it get
vote in these guys. They serve 4 terms or 4 years or 8 at best. There's no accountability. It's the cul-de-sac that I believe that there's no right way to go at a dead end, and so we do need to repave the streets, I guess.
I,
what
I would add, I don't think, because Lori, you mentioned compassion. I don't think that people have really, as a whole, we've gotten to the point where a lot of people say compassion, but Lori, most of these folks don't really have real compassion. If they, you know what I'm saying? If they're after bloodlust and revenge, they have not actually gotten to the point of rising to that compassion yet. I don't think so. That's why I think a lot of what you see in the religions, like with people calling themselves Christian, but nowhere near even reaching for the ideals that it may, the tenets that it may suggest. Like it's just the label. So they're adopting the label. There's no depth there. And I think that's kind of where we're at.
well
Go
well
ahead.
I'm kind of like I was driving these rural back roads and I went through Albert Pike. I went through Pike Land where he's from, and he had parks and he had a town and he had, this is like Albert Pike. Isn't that the guy that James you did research on? And I was like, I don't know if it's the same person, but I'm looking at this like nobody asks questions anymore. No one is curious. It's like everyone is like so wanting to, be right or their opinion, but no one can stay even neutral for a second to listen to anything. It's like that's the part that I'm thinking is so inhuman that compassion is listening, isn't it?
I I kind of have a different take on this. Like
Good.
I think so. I think compassion is more of an active tool of survival than it is a hey, you're really nice if you do this. I think you survive if you do this. If you use compassion, you survive. You can outmaneuver your opponent because you can predict what they'll do. And yeah, I'm using the word opponent. I think the world is a natural setting, and nature just has things in it. You don't really know what you're going to get next, and so you could look at the world as an opponent in this way. It's a way of finding your obstacles that might make it harder for you to survive or to thrive or to pollinate the world or more importantly to exist. And here's where I have a different functioning. First of all, I'm sorry for what I'm about to say. I think that it's very immoral. Second of all, it kind of touches on the same kind of feeling where there's a little bit of pushback, I think healthfully so, but by some people that have heard how I feel about cloning that have a different sort of take on this. And I have a different take on this. I believe that if we were growing up in a natural, raw environment, it would be quite natural for me to develop a righteous kind of energy where it felt justified that I could kill a few people. I do not think that I would be able to convince anyone that this is a moral decision in their eyes. I think that the moral decision would really come down to how I feel about why I did what I did. And I could give you just a trillion different examples because I've thought of so many of them because I've thought about this very thing of like, well, what about this? What about this? And if I was surrounded by a world where there was like maybe seven guys that were wandering around as like Dexters in the world, doing horrible things to people that I deemed innocent, I would feel a righteous kind of necessity in order for me to survive, not because they would kill me. It's much more important than that. Me to survive in a sanctimonious, pollinational, kind of symbiotic way. In other words, I belong to the system. I'm symbiotic with it. If I live in a world that has evil in it and I reject and abhor that evil, I am saying the system is not me. I am separating myself from the system and I'm saying that system's got evil in it. And since I'm not evil, I am not in that system. I am not that system. That system has things that are not me. But if instead I looked at it as here's what the system does, all of nature behaves this way, it's kind of like being a fish. You're a fish in the water. And at any point in time, a larger fish that you've never seen, that you've never contemplated, that you've never had any inkling could swallow you, is going to be able to swallow you. And you only know that because you've seen it when you've done it to others. It's the only way you know. It's literally the only way that you're aware. Wait a minute, there's a little thing here. You could just get swallowed instantly. And you only know that by gulping enough other ignorance. So you keep eating ignorance until you develop some kind of intelligence inside of you. And if you were to truly own the environment, if you were to be a living reef, I think that you might find it necessary for me to I would probably call Brad first. I'd probably call Brad. I'd say, Brad Clinton, we need to have a talk. Can we meet tonight? And we'd meet. And I'd say, look, I think we got a problem. These people cut off genitals and rape people. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't want to be here. I've tried to reject them. I've tried to work with them. I've tried to pass laws. I want this to be taken care of. We are wolves. I want us to be wolves right now. I want us to go get that drug boat. I am blaming them for the sickness that I feel in my village. No one trusts each other. No one can have a meaningful conversation because these exist. See, in my mind, that would be an obligation. And this is why I think we develop laws because I don't want to fucking do that. I don't want to have to like gun down a guy that I grew up with that I know for a fact shot a camel in the head because he was like, I'm a fucking Marine. And I'm not saying that would earn it. I'm just trying to give you an example. I don't want to have to sit there and be like, fuck, I have to do something about my fucking society. That's hard. I'd be thinking about that probably 45% of my time, the exact amount of energy you give to taxes, the exact amount of energy that you give to that. You get to not have to deal with that. Well, that guy's fucking nuts. Glad I'm out of here. See that road rage guy I just left back there and just left him to do that to whoever else he wants to do in the world? See you later. It's a kind of magic bullet that we have society and it makes sense. I don't think anything's broken here. I really don't. My natural inclination to want to go do something to Pete Hegseth, I kind of just want to hunt him down. I want to like hunt him down and just be like capture him, sort of like a jaguar, and then like explain to him, well, you see, you could have gotten drunk and hit someone on the streets because that's how we're doing it now, right? Where hey, this could have been drugs on the boat. Well, Pete, you're an alcoholic. You could drive and kill someone today on the street. It'd be much more likely. So I've captured you. I've seen you as an enemy militant combatant that's taken over and terrorized the streets. You're a terrorist. You meet all the natural protocols that you've defined by me, that I'm defining by you, and that which one of us is moral, which one of us is not moral. I think it comes down to which one of us has the righteousness to want to do something about it. See, when we vote for Trump, we vote for a kind of very special kind of righteousness, isn't it? A very specific kind of Trumpian righteousness, which involves revenge. Isn't that what MAGA is all about? Let's burn food stamps. What a horrible place you have to be in to be one of the richest countries in the world and to say, we're finally in charge. Hey, let's fucking burn the food. This is a very specific kind of state, and it needed to be represented by a certain candidate that had all these hyenas angst pushed into him strong enough because they voted for this shit and they said, this is what I want to see happen. So, this is the natural world, isn't it? This is the natural world. Nazis are wandering around. They've been doing it for a long time. America had over 200 Nazi communities before all that started. You had all these towns. You go to towns. You go through Illinois and you'd hit like Naziville, Illinois, and you'd stop and get sherbet, and it'd be like, yeah, and I'm not fucking kidding. They'd have Nazi flags up. All of that would be there, and it'd be like eugenics. We have to preserve the sacred white race. All that shit, all of it. So when we look at the psyche of who we truly are, it's people that if they saw they had the opportunity, they wouldn't just loot. They would rape, they would pillage. What do you, sorry to say this, but what do you, now you know what it's like to be like a woman. Like wandered around the fucking street. You know what I mean? I'm glad you're nodding, Brad, because it's like, seriously, it's like, I don't think about this, but then you get to see, wait, this is more of the fucking jungle. Cause it's like, if it's dark at night, there are no rules. The only rules are based on the lack of anonymity. Do you see what I mean? In a way, that's really the only safety you have is the lack of anonymity. This is why we hide behind cameras because guess what? It fucking works. And if it works, it means this is a real life force, a kind of fire that you build in the jungle. When you build a fire in the woods, it keeps certain animals away, but it also brings other human predators in, doesn't it? And when you build a city of witness, that's a kind of fire. It keeps the predators away, but it brings in a whole new kind of predator that's much more sophisticated. And that this is the most natural system. It's a folding, an umbrella, a giant mushroom of safety and oh fuck and safety and oh fuck. And really, I think ultimately, I think what's waiting to happen is all the angst, the oh, white males and anti white, all this is just, I want to be a man and have responsibility for my local bioregion. I want to be the guy. This is not me. I'm just telling you, this just happened here. I want to be the guy that says, "Yeah, that house burned down. Yeah, I'm on the fire department, but we're just gonna watch it fucking burn because that guy's a shithead. I think that guy raped a girl and blah 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 blah. This like just happened a few towns over. They just watched this house burn down. I could tell you how wrong and immoral and how fucked up that is. All and I do. It's not right. You don't fucking know that. You don't know that. But also, ultimately, this is what men are supposed to do. Men are supposed to be the ones that are fucking administering some sort of justice in the world. And if we're not able to do that, we're gonna fucking look at tranny porn. We're gonna fucking hire drug extradition boats and fucking bomb shit through drone warfare. We're gonna vote for revenge politics. We're gonna burn the fuck out of food stamps. We're gonna say she deserved it. Look at the way she's dressed. We're gonna say that fucking brown guy doesn't belong here. We're gonna say immigrants took our jobs. You're gonna all those things. That angst has to go somewhere. And I don't think that we can change this. I don't think we can just pull the rug out from justice because I think there'd be a lot of raping going on, a lot of pillaging going on. People like me would die first. I would die first. I would subvert into some kind of psychological other animal. None of you would recognize me. And I would off myself because secretly I'd be a werewolf that knew I want blood and I have to kill myself before I eat a fucking virgin. And I'd be like, how do I fucking kill myself? I just know this is what would fucking I would hope that I would have enough strength to do that. I would degrade. So I only exist because of this psionic bullshit system that we have. It's the only reason why I'm here. It's the only reason why I could say, I think I could draw a cartoon about this. If only people could look at this, I could pollinate the world through cartoons because I don't want to fucking take a javelin and cram it through someone's throat when they're asleep because I didn't like the way that they drove, because I didn't
Keep
like the person they voted for. And so if we
keep
didn't have
doing
all this
it.
bullshit system, you wouldn't be able to do that.
What, Clinton?
Oh, just keep doing it, James. All I can do is make a sticker of the White House on fire and stick it around town, Uh, make art. That's what you're doing. I think the cartoons are awesome. People are going to eat it up. Just
Well,
keep pounding the content.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah, I think
noticed
that's what
with
you're
the
suggesting. Maybe
cartoons, I can't get too preachy. I think you even have to be less preachy. I'm learning about the formula, and that's why I think it'll take me a while to get that right. I actually think less substance actually says more. I
Absolutely.
this idea I have right now for Cash Patel. There's a hostage negotiation because Cash Patel is stuck on a plane and he won't get off until someone gives him an FBI jacket. This actually really happened, by the way. But
yeah.
I'm like, wait, this would be a really good cartoon because it really did happen. But no, there's no video of it, and you could show people the video. They would have in their mind, okay, it's true, and they've actually seen it happen. They would see how pitiful, pathetic the system is. Like it's good. It's not so specific. Like I need to talk about the overall implications of the FBI shooter program, which I did. It's like here's how they pick shooters out of a farm, but it's like that's a little bit too heady. And so maybe this other approach might work better because it's a little bit more just purely feelings oriented, more like
Well,
music,
like
if that makes sense.
pure memetics and too, right? Memes, right, James? The fact that memetics is communicates the idea quicker and it's simplified. And going back to the conversation I was saying I had with the family friends, that was the thing I did there where it was just I kind of found that one sort of point and I just stayed there. I didn't try and get fancy or anything. I just stayed on the same point no matter sort of what they did. But I think that when you've mentioned before memes, I do think that that's probably the most comedy, humor, and memes is probably the most effective way to communicate and pollinate because we're talking about the fact that right now our psyches or the general psyche is not really wanting to sit with things in depth. Things are moving fast. Everything's happening fast. It's just bites of things. But the memes communicate so much. And so, like with you're talking about Patel and the jacket, it's like if you can just encapsulate just the aspect that's ridiculous in and of itself without any other sort of context, it's like that communicates
Yeah.
the entirety of it.
Yeah, and I was thinking that because it's the FBI and the FBI is always negotiating hostage situations, in a way, they're the hostage. Kosh Patel is the hostage, so he's like telling them, "I want a jacket and I want a pizza," and so they're like negotiating over the pizza because he saw that in the movie, and it's like, yeah, so it's like, I don't know if this is the right move, but this is kind of what I want to try right now, and I don't know if I'll get all these script. The key is I think I've been writing scripts because I just think I need to practice that more. It's very specific art. I'm also really surprised at where the comedy comes from. You don't actually write comedy. What you do is well, not that I'm a comedy writer, but it's I've noticed what seems to happen is I don't worry about the bit. I write the bit and then the comedy just naturally flows as long as it's honest, as long as it's like the pizza came when I because it's like, oh my God, he's got to ask for a pizza. Like he has to throw that out there. He's because they're working on the jacket, but until then he wants a pizza, and it's like that only comes because you actually take the time to put yourself, in the moment and actually go there. So anyway, I don't know if this is gonna work. We'll see what happens, but I'll keep doing vertical shorts, and I'd rather do the horizontal movies, but the Kawatli Q, that thing is just bombed. It's like 700 views, and that was just God, that was just like a month of work. So it's like, although to be fair, the last video, the fentanyl, that was 3 days of work. So I'm clearly learning how to do this, and I still really want to keep working with you, Brad. Most of it's just been technical right now, just
Oh,
learning
sure, yeah,
how to even
hey, no
see
worries from my end, man. Definitely. Definitely. I will echo that though, that the fact that the more you play with things, the quicker it gets as far as like a new creative. You know that though. Yeah, it's not telling you anything new, but yeah, I think that again, finding the beats because you're trying to do like I feel like you're doing new things, stretching yourself to new things, and each one, it's like you got to give yourself some grace and some time to streamline it because the first few takes so long, but
yeah.
you ain't wrong. It gets so much
Yeah.
quicker.
And last week, last month, I'm not sure exactly, but it was like I put out 11 shorts, and I think that was like one a day. It really did come down to like one a day. So, that's about a minute and 15 of video for, 10, 12-hour day. And that's not necessarily off what most YouTube producer like, like what it takes. So,
Well, hell, you're trying to do something different as well. A lot of what's happening on YouTube right now is because I'm seeing a lot of this come up. A lot of what's going on YouTube is the AI created videos. So these a lot of these channels are just people put plugging in the AI algorithm and it's just producing videos with just whatever, but that's generating income. So you've got sort of two things happening there. You've got a lot of people on YouTube just trying to generate income, which from what I've understood comes from a lot more of the long form stuff, the stuff that people will click on and stay on, which is why I think these AI videos that find a topic and just stay on that niche work. But I'm finding the same thing in terms of like you're talking about just sort of connectivity and like impact as far as like getting sort of a pollination out. I'm not sure either on what's the better route as far as shorts. So like is as far as what gets more attention rather than monetize. I feel there's two
I,
different things.
I think that the Turtle Island report is accidentally, it is kind of turning into a Muppet show because a Turtle Island report would have, all kinds of different pieces, all kinds of different bits. So, you could go into a documentary, then you could go into a musical number, you could go into a drama act, So it does have that Muppet show vehicle, being that it's an underground news show, and the personalities are starting to develop, so like Kyle is like, he doesn't know that he's a Nazi, like he's that kind of character, like he's a Nazi, he just doesn't know it, and so he's working for an underground organic news network, but he doesn't actually realize it, and then so it's like each person is allowed to kind of become the Miss Piggy had pearls because you never throw your pearls before swine, like that's why she wore pearls, like that's such a the silhouette of Miss Piggy in your brain has a deep fable. The fable is deeply built into that. And by the way, I never read that that's what Jim Henson meant. No one ever caught that. I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to say I compassionated Jim Henson. I saw him go, oh my God, pearls before swine. That's why Miss Piggy wears pearls. And when you look at her, her entire character is that fable personified, right? She has all this talent. She's surrounded by a ragtag bunch of what she considers hyenas that do not perfectly see her for what she is. She's been cast into the net of still wanting to connect with people. Like it's such a beautiful the mythology, guys, is I want to get the mythology right, you know? And it seems like all you have to do is just find a little piece of something of a character and then just sees what would naturally develop from that. And then it kind of shapes into its own thing, you know. The voices are getting interesting. There's a lot of different voices in this fentanyl. I think there was like I think I had 7 characters in that, maybe 6. And each of those had a unique voice. Those are all AI generated voices. But I felt that they just had so much more personality um, than than I think we could have delivered. I think we could have found a professional voice guy maybe, but fuck, I wouldn't be able to do this. I can't do that. You know, I can't spend 3 months. You know.
I think you got to utilize
Okay.
the AI in
So
that
yeah,
regard.
the AI has to come, but it is better than I think. And maybe I'll learn a few more techniques because there's a way you can kind of hybrid, but I've honestly stopped hybriding it because I've noticed that when I hybrid it with my voice, I can get a little bit more of my personality into it, but it ends up warbling the voice to where it's not as good as the AI itself. So I've switched back, and I've noticed it feels like I could be lying to myself. The numbers only the numbers will show, but it feels like because of the work of the sound engineering, if you put a lot of background information in there, a lot of background sounds, it really does make it just more believable, and the voices just kind of seem to work better in that way. So it's kind of an amazing thing to have access to voice actors like that. Like as a writer, to be able to have that, it's like, oh my God, what a what an amazing blessing, you know, to even be able to play with that. So I wouldn't be able to write it any other way, I guess. You know, you don't know what you're writing until you're halfway through it, you know, until you're like a painting, like anything, you
Yeah,
know.
sure.
And if you didn't have the AI voices, you wouldn't even be able to, you wouldn't know if this is the idea. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't know that this is, oh, this would be the part where this could be funny or something like that. So,
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I found so many times it's not until I'm working with something like you say that that's where you find it,
mhm.
where the music, the humor, and the also when you're talking about Henson, whether he knew what he was doing with Miss Piggy or not. See, I wonder if it's in that same context of that the fact that like I feel like what you're doing or what artists would typically are doing is tuning into the mythology and it
Yeah.
just sort of falls in front of you and you see it when you see it. Maybe you don't plan it way ahead of time, but I would imagine that Henson, by the time he got down to the point, I would imagine he kind of knew what he was doing because I know in my own sort of
Yeah.
stuff, I wouldn't always point out all the little things I put in
Well,
there, but
I only knew that about him because he actually was talking about the archetypes of the different
okay,
characters, but he never actually explained that about Piggy. But I could not I couldn't unsee it. It was like, oh my God, I started crying when I noticed it. I actually did a short about it a long time ago, but it emotionally choked me up to realize that was how he felt. He
how
was
special is that though?
in
If
a
he were to
public
put that in there,
he was in a public television, you know, not no one was paying him anything, but he wanted to do this art, you know. And then people started saying, well, you can sell combs or you can sell, you know, soap, and then it turned into a show, and then it turned into something else. So yeah, it's a beautiful concept for sure. So, but I'd like to get more music in it. I'd love to do more. There's a lot more. I'm amazed that I was had the time to put the things that I wanted. One of the things I don't do at all right now is animate. None of the fentanyl had any moving stuff, you know. Now I kind of want to just how hard is it to animate a few things, and to see what a nightmare that is. And um, yeah, I probably need to get my AI machine back going again because I would imagine that I could animate it if I had AI helping. It could read a video of me and then it could turn that into drawing. That would be amazing.
That's kind of funny. That's almost exactly what I try. I'm just now trying to work with AI animation right now myself, just getting into it. But
Yeah.
mine, I'm trying to work on a animation for a Christmas song with an animated Santa Claus. But just playing with that, like I really do think that the AI can make things so much simpler as far as like getting our ideas to screen. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I have a
Yeah.
complete idea of what I'd like to create for this video, but I know how to do the live part. But I'm right now, like I said,
Mhm.
I have no experience with the AI animation, and that's I've
Yeah.
been playing with this week a little bit.
Yeah, it's crazy what the work actually looks like, you know? It's like today I've got 113 lines of just one sentence per line, but it's just it really does represent just 14 hours of just work. FBI Agent 3, if we don't move this plane in 5 minutes, the whole operation slips. FBI Agent 1, we're about to scrub a mission because this guy wants merch. FBI Agent, fine, he wants a jacket. Let's buy 30 minutes of our life. But like all those things are, it takes so long to what how does this line what should it say, you know? And I'm not even done yet. I've been trying to just write and I have to finish even if I don't animate. I still have to realize, well, yeah, but at a studio one guy would just write the script, like that's his job, you know? So you can just write the script and just say you're done, like that's, you know.
Hey, not to mention, have you seen how many projects as far as like I'm talking professional movies and TVs that don't get to where the creator or the visionary wants it to be, and
Mhm.
what comes out is actually somehow cobbled together. And then so Aladdin was one of them, right? Aladdin did not come out at all the way they had intended when they first started it.
Yeah.
But what came out, right, was a hit and everybody loved it and everybody said, "Oh, that's so perfect." But to realize that the creators of it, that was not the actual vision. It was just what they were able to, with schedules and deadlines and with all the animators and all the people working on it, that's what they were able to cobble together. And it was magic in its own right, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, we'll see what happens. I the not the fentanyl one, but the what was the video I did before that? Oh yeah, the oh man, the seven international laws. That short I did because I was hoping I need to stay current eventsy and stuff. And but guys, I just can't pull traffic in. I'll be honest with you, I just you know, tons of pull traffic
you
in.
were like
I can pull
5 weeks
traffic in when
ahead of
I'm
that
like, there's no
exit.
such thing as a virus. Is there no such thing as a virus? I pull shitload of traffic in. I can bring in 200,000 viewers on that. And what was that, Clinton?
Oh, you were like a month ahead of pop culture with the war criminal stuff. And so if you keep the shorts focused more on the pop culture political shit that's happening with the shit show, with just keep the focus on the fucktards and then drop a little bit of your nuanced culture, like your super aperture stuff. Like you are
Yeah.
so macro, you got that jungle lens on the camera and you have such high focus and such a huge aperture and it's dark out. And when the flash goes off, you're scaring these people like deer in headlights. They're like,
Mhm.
whoa, what? He just, my whole brain. You remember in the Chappelle show when they made him take off his hood and everyone said, holy shit, Clayton Bigsby, and people's heads blew up in that room. You
Mhm.
blow people's heads up sometimes. So if you give them little sprinkles of culture in the public nuance. Like you're killing it. Like the Hegseth stuff you were. That was like 6 weeks ago. You started calling all these guys
Yeah.
war criminals.
Yeah. It was fucked up,
You're
man.
not ever not on it. You could do your they came by night with that DPA shit. If you did
Yeah.
that in tiny segments and had the news deliver that to
Yeah.
people,
Yeah, you're
explain to
right.
them since like 1947 we've been being bamboozled,
Yeah.
or maybe since World War I. But
Yeah. I think
you got
about
to
all
keep
that. Oh yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's all I've been thinking about lately is all the old stuff. How many, you know, it's like, wow, this only got 1,400 views. Like,
You
what
have
if this was
gold
all
bricks.
shorts? You know,
You
it's
have
like,
gold bricks in the basement, and
mm,
you got to dig in those crates for like all the samples.
Yeah.
You got to
Well,
be a TK right now and put
isn't
out
it
the.
like you talked about Benjamin Owen, right? He stole your idea for the campground or whatever like that because of what like Clinton's talking about, you being a little bit ahead of it. And I feel like a lot of times we're talking about, but I see the same thing. I'm seeing these things come up into the public consciousness a month or so behind, but it's not, it's almost like we were talking about it here, right? A month later, the public catches up, but it's these big creators talking about the same thing that you talked about a month ago. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I,
you know,
but I'm,
if like if just like one of these things would take off, you know, it would really it would be fun as fuck, you know. It'd be fun as fuck because then I could hire help. It'd just be cool, fun as fuck to build a team, a pollinating team, you know, to be doing stuff
oh
like
yeah.
that.
Well, I'm
Not
there with you. I wish it's
using
like I'm
Yeah, that's
same thing. Would love to have
I'm
means.
blessed to have even what I have now, you know. I seriously I am, and that's why I'm just kind of like you see me in the bullpen every day, and I miss every fucking day. But you see me in the bullpen every day, and I miss every day. But I swear I cannot believe how much enthusiasm I have. Honestly, I'm just always just like, okay, well, what if we did this? And it's you know
You don't miss in the room though, but I get what you're saying. It's like, but
yeah
I feel still the same with me. It's I feel uh, like Clinton, you're talking about sort of, deer in headlights with people,
yeah
right? It's kind of like finding that space where they're comfortable enough to where, but I'm same thing. I feel like if I go full steam onto sort of where my head's at, it's like it doesn't connect, and it really is kind of like finding the pulse of where somebody's that I'm communicating with. And in terms of what you're talking about, just numbers in terms of the masses out there, yeah, I mean, I think as we've mentioned it before, it is just like a little bit of the fact that of regulating to the sense that it's just a little bit behind and being a little bit ahead of the curve is frustrating because I remember so many times people coming back and telling me something that I was on 2 years ago and telling me like it's something new. And I'm like, yeah, I was telling you about that two
yeah
years
yeah
ago, but
yeah
they have no connection to that. They don't even
yeah
remember that I was talking about it 2 years ago. They think it's a
yeah.
new idea, but they heard it just because it's finally in the mainstream. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's a lot of
Yeah,
what's
someone brought up the Great Awakening the other day on Twitter. Like they were sort of like, "Did you hear about this thing called the Great Awakening?" You know, and I totally got it because it's like, oh, I remember that. You know, I totally
yeah.
remember feeling that way, and here you are, and you know, yeah, it's a spiral. You know, it's a like a
I was thinking about like flipping the script on this because every one of us is ahead of the schedule. And so, what if we were all ahead of the schedule and we bought the first Bitcoin? We'd be
Mhm.
billionaires now, right?
Yeah,
Or whatever. So I think that the manifestation of like really feeling what it feels like to be that person that gets that first Bitcoin, and what did that feel like to, and you're saying that you're not hitting the home run or you missed, you have the room but don't have the bullpen or whatever the thing was that you were just talking about. I was thinking like, what if we were able to create now in a different way and we didn't have to feel like a victim to being ahead of the curve? Like how can you like feel into what it feels like to be that successful and have that team? Like, Jim Henson, he did it because he loved it and he wasn't getting paid. And and he did all that like in that way. And it's like I think that we have to get out of our own way of like perpetuating that it's not working so that we can get it to work. And
Yeah.
I
I
think
think it's
it's
the
just
joy, right? Right,
yeah,
Lord?
yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying
And I
earlier.
don't really think that the way time works like it used to work. And I think we're time lords right now. And we have to like get in and out of time. And we're going to go with Pisces. The Pisces thing is going to be over. We're going to have Aries and Neptune. I mean, how long is that going to be, Renee? I mean, it's like an arrow. It's going to be a totally different timeline. And it's like, but we have to manifest it by how it feels to feel successful and to
Well, I
be
think a lot of
autistic.
James.
What? Go ahead. What?
Oh no, autistics unite. Let's all take over the world. I think James, being ahead of the curve, a lot of your concepts are 32K, and maybe the whole world isn't even 4K, and so it's just difficult. It's going to be slow
Yeah. Well,
to
that's yeah.
have people are still when you talk, sometimes they hear fax tone, you know? It's like a dial-up connection in their ear. Or back to like maybe it's
How dare
Snoopy's
you?
teacher, you know?
Yeah,
You're
this
beautiful.
is
I hear
why I
everything
think
you say.
moving into the hypothetical actually works because I think it actually removes it out of the 32K and puts it in this other vibe. And if that's more funny or
Yeah.
hypocritical or satirical or whatever, then yeah, I think that's probably a closer place to be
I'm
at.
Edge
I'm
lord,
I'm
James.
I'm,
Edge lord.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm doing the vibe libel dance. So so your vibe libel. So you're doing cartoon, and that's like your vibe is getting higher because you're doing a creative thing. So just put in that thing of what it feels like to be so successful doing the cartoon.
Nice.
First, you're learning something.
Hmm.
Then you got this cartoon thing that's a dream come true. And I heard you
Hmm.
say that vibe. I was like, he's vibe liable.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
doing things he loves instead of doing like
yeah,
that, getting on there. I don't know what it feels like in your body when you get off alive and you're like, you got some shitty comments and I was like, I just gave it all. And it's like, you know,
yeah.
I don't know if you feel better when you do the cartoon. I'm just asking the question, James.
Um, I love doing the lives, and I think if there was a way to somehow grow and do the lives, I would just keep doing the lives. But it's really debilitating to know that people like Amel or have to come to tears before they cancel because they're just I feel like they feel too obligated to have to help me. I That really drives me nuts. I don't want people to feel that way. I shouldn't have to require so much. Um and I don't know how to grow my live audience. I just fucking don't. I feel like I honestly feel like I've tried every single thing I can, except for I could go back to doing interviews and doing stuff like that and do more. There's no virus and shit like that, and have on people like
In
I've had
terms of
on.
generating income, though, if that's the
But
thing, it's like
I don't know if that's what I want to do. I really want to keep doing what I'm doing. But what I do would be very transferable into anything. I want to be creative. I want to not have any sleep. I honestly, I fucking love when I'm tired as fuck. I fucking love it when I'm calling Renee. I'm just like, oh, it's like 18 hours. And it's not because I had to. It's just because it was just, I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to solve this. I really wanted it's just so addicted to the creative process. And I don't mind that my creativity has to be uh I like that the world forces me to finish things even if I don't like it. And I like that the amount that I sell is conducive to what I can make. I'm okay with that. I just wish that what I made was like come on, man. It's TPUSA is like gets like $28 million in one text message from some guy. Hey, I want you to make more content. Here's 28 million fucking dollars. It's just like that energy is so there. It's fucking everywhere. And it'd be sweet as fuck if just like one of those patriarch patrons would come in and just be like, "Hey, why don't you fucking make content?" Like it's like, but that's what I mean by if my live audience would grow or if something like that, it would be a different kind of situation. I don't even mean to complain. I'm just saying that uh I don't know how it's sustainable the way it is now. I feel more like I kind of feel more like I'm leeching off people because I'm not bringing in enough numbers. If I was bringing in more numbers, it wouldn't be as important for everybody to have a higher pledge or yeah, I hope you get what I'm
no,
saying. It's like
yeah,
that. It's just like
totally.
that's the part where I just feel that's the only thing where I feel like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, Lori. It's that. It's if that was working, then I would say this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'd just be live streaming and you know.
Feels like
But
there's sort of
but I
two.
do I do like this move. This is what I mean by I'm pliable because I've had the world prune me all the time creatively. Believe me. So many times I've been like, I want to do this. I was playing gigs with a guitar for a time. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And I swear the world proved me. It's like, you're not going to do that. I was like, okay. Same thing with cartoonists, all that stuff. It's author, live streamer, programmer, graphic designer, art director, military guy, pre-law, all these things. I don't mind being pruned by the world because I just frankly I still have enthusiasm for it. But I do want something to aquarianate. I want one of these things to bring more fuel because I love the radio show we do. I fucking love the dojos we do. I love the shows we do, and honestly, I'm not doing enough to keep it coming in. Where it's in the deficit. I don't like talking about it, but it's in the deficit. That's all. I'm living in a deficit. Still having fun. Honestly, I get lost in it.
Yeah.
I One of you guys picked a console this week. Fucking save me. Just like, oh god, it's like really fucking save me. And I don't like being like, you guys are saving me. I don't want you to feel that way. I want you to just, you know what I mean. It's that's the only part. And I think it's a blessing, Lori. I hope you can. I think it's a blessing because I still get up and I'm like, let's try this. Let's try this.
Yeah. I
And
think
that's
it's a
why I
blessing.
dig Coatly Q. That movie, I knew that movie probably wasn't going to work visual wise, but I wanted to just make myself produce it, just get into the. And now I've produced all these shorts, and I swear, guys, it's late at night, 3 in the morning. I watch my shorts and I smile. I watch it and I'm just like, look at that little cat. Look how cute this cat is. Or here's a flamingo, a floating flamingo. That's what I did today. I was like, I want a floating flamingo. It's like that. That really brings me so much joy to create and just, it's and to
Yeah.
be proud of what you create. It really is and I feel that way about my live streams too, but also my live streams are really dank, they're really dense, and they're hard to cram into somebody when a short maybe could do it better. So yeah.
Well, I don't think anything's broken, James. I think it's a process, and I'm watching the process, and I'm just trying to say, like, I think we're going into a whole new pacha. Like, there's something like big shifting, and I think because you've been a little bit of the, like ahead of the curve, I think that's a good thing. And it's just a matter of, like the compartmentalizing of all these little pieces. Doesn't Dojo do something like, isn't that like a psychological practice that we're here for?
Fuck yeah.
Right? We
Yeah.
put ourselves into this place where you can alchemize a conflict and still have no issue with the person in the room. It's no issue. It's like you
I think that's
just,
pretty big.
I think that's like a model that could be taken out in such a big way in the world of like taking this kind of autistic kind of perspective and then pollinating the world with that level that each one of us that gets to dojo gets to do. So it's a bigger thing, and it maybe I want you to have financial success, but in the big scheme of things, and I'll go back to Clinton's, the pollination of his stepfather. He pollinated the world in a really big way by being a maverick. And that's the kind of thing that I think we all forget that we're doing because we want to be a success in the 3D world and we want to have all this material stuff, like that, because
We
that's
don't want
kind
to worry about the light staying on, right?
well, yeah, and having a home, I mean,
Yeah.
Brad, you've been writing a lot about like what it means to be pared down, and I think that we all want all of those things, and then yet as that maverick kind of thing, you're kind of on that edge, and I'm kind of pushing the edge too. I mean, like all of the way that people were shamans and selling classes and selling courses and selling that you're broken, that's kind of over. The dojo is the new way of being a coming forth with your authenticity and your medicine person, and it's like not selling I can fix you because you can take my 12-step shaman class, and people are making big bucks in that. They're making big bucks in the turning point because the savior's outside of yourself. We're in the Aquarian age. There's no savior outside, it's inside of you, and each creative has to step up and we're in this like new place, and I'm like, this is exciting. I think, but this thing, I think that if you just had people and a patron that paid for this, never mind your content. That's a whole other thing. That's like, if you're a patron to your art, you're just a patron to your art, James, no matter what you're doing, whether it's cartooning or live or whatever. I mean, like, I think you just need a patron, not a turning point person, but a patron that just says, I value your art. Like another artist, Clinton's an artist. He values your art. I value your art. It's just like
I'm
we just,
here. Yeah.
yeah, like, so we're,
Oh, I know that. Yeah. I wouldn't be making art without what I have. It's truly it's a miracle. So
I think you just got several different spaces. And for example, I think Dojo is such a different thing than what's going on your live streams and on like
mm,
Dojo Radio. And I wonder if it's a way to appeal because like what you're talking about, Lori, right? I think a certain segment of people would be attracted to what we do in Dojo, but that's totally different than what's going on live stream. Do you know what I'm saying? And I really think it's more like there are multiple audiences out there, and also to your point, like you said, the self help stuff and a lot of the quote unquote slop I see that makes money, right? It plugs into that level where the money's at. So I feel like you've got sort of two ways here: either to stay in that niche lane, or in where you're talking about either a patron that just appreciates your work and has the means to just say, here, you're funded now and you don't have to worry about that, or you try and connect to the broader audience to get numbers, but that's going to mean producing a different style or a different level of content. And again, I do, like you say, Lori, I really think what you've got going on in Dojo is such a specific thing that really has appeal to a specific sort of people who do want to, like you're talking about, not self help, but actually work on themselves and alchemize what we do here in this space. Which is again, that's not why I joined, but I fucking love Dojo, and this was such a bonus. Like I think I've told you before, it was your live streams. That's why I joined. But it's so funny because I recognized immediately that Dojo and live streams, to me, are totally different things.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
gotta back that up, Brad, real quick. For real, like I came from even a different place. I came from Aeon Byte and listening to your concepts, your cosmology, and the whole the cellular hallucination, and d- just that Arc of Baphomet stuff. It just your whole way to, well, as far as mooching, this is church, right? We're all pretend, or we're just new Christians. We're Luciferian Christians, and so the money is just the church basket. And as far as like maybe a matinee dojo after a live stream once a week, because I think those big groups, that shows that this is a way that this is a diverse room, and when the room's big, it's really diverse. And I painted my skin with tattoos to look different, to be not the privileged one, because I came out of the Stargate looking like the guy that everyone hates. And I'm not. I think like you think. I don't know why in 2017 it was news to respect women, since we all come out of.
Oh, he dropped.
Oh no, we lost him.
Dang it. But I do know what he was saying about that. I do think that
Oh,
was
he's
a funny
back.
thing.
He's
There
back.
he is. Go ahead, Clint.
You there,
Like you
Clinton?
were saying, in
We're all trying to
2017, it
get
was
Oh,
back
like
yeah.
a
into
new
one.
idea that we could respect women, right?
Right. So I just don't know why that is, because we all came out of one to get here. It's not news, and so I just don't understand why uh, these the people, like, I think you should do a write a short, James, maybe with the red and the blue team playing tug of war, but have them like release some of the tension, and then have someone roll in on their yoga ball and show them that they could turn it into a jump rope or something, uh, and they could play a different game with the rope. If we stop pulling on it and we let go of the tension, we could have a conversation, because, like we're saying, this is all generational bullshit. We don't even know what we're fighting over. It seems like the whole planet is just Jews and Nazis, and no one knows what side's what.
What if they were doing the
There's
tug of
two
war, Clinton?
teams.
Right? They got the tug of war and they've got the thing stretched out, and we just start limboing under it, under the center right there, right?
Juicies.
Playing
I
our own
think
game.
Two juicies.
the eagle should grab the rope from the tug of war, James, and drop the branch and the arrows on them. The arrow should kill the angry ones, and the branch should probably kill the peaceful ones, and the bird should fly away. Anyways, I love you guys.
I love you, Clinton. Thanks for that. That was really good. But yeah, I think like, when you say come on to Dojo, I don't like people like, do they know what this is? It's like, it's such a special thing to have a place that,
Well,
especially with people that don't know how to handle conflict or
yeah.
don't know how to express what their feelings are, wait for Dojo to express it. And then, like it's just it's like you want to say take yourself up from a 12-year-old in high school, in middle school, you know to an adult. This is the way to do it.
Hmm.
you know
Well, I think that so I was live streaming like 5 days a week there for a while, mainly because I was thinking people were going to join Patreon for that, and it I was really impressed with how many people were watching. The numbers were really good, so it's very positive. I didn't keep going though because my Patreon just wasn't going up. My subscribers not going up. Both of those things not going up when I'm live streaming 5 days a week, sadly, is enough to just kill it. Just to be like, fuck, I can't. It's not, and it sucks because I think if the subscribers would just slowly go up, just even slowly go up, I would just do that more. But it just it. I've asked the Gemini AI, the YouTube AI. It keeps saying you're keeps saying I'm Ken Wheeler, and I look at Ken Wheeler's content, and I don't think that's what I am, but I think that the algorithm thinks that's what I am. And so I don't it could be I'm just niched myself out and I've got thousands of videos that are niching myself into that spot and there's nothing I can do about it.
You're saying
I
the algorithm's putting it that way, putting it in
Yeah,
front of it. Yeah.
that the algorithm thinks that's who I am, and why would it suggest me? You could just suggest Ken Wheeler, and I wouldn't suggest me if I was looking for Ken Wheeler's content. Some of the things I've heard that guy talk about, like he'll say physicists think that electrons are real, and that Ken is the only person who knows they're not, and that all the other physicists are just think that somehow that they're real objects, but not Ken. And I watched that, and I'm just like, why are you fucking dissing on some like brilliant fucking mind? Like, why are you fucking doing that? It's because people like to watch that. People like to think, oh yeah, all the smart people are dumbasses, but not this guy. He gets it.
Well, to your point, James, I bet if you started just getting on here and railing against all the other truth channels, right? Something like that, rage bait like that would probably get
Yeah,
some people off, right?
yeah, it would, and sometimes that works. I'll go off on Archaics or I'll go off on Owen Benjamin and then I'll see spikes every time. And I don't
Yeah.
want, that's not, I don't want to fucking, I don't want to be there. And I'm not going to compete with one hyena when there's literally a giant valley, just thousands, tens of thousands of them.
Yeah.
I'd rather do something else. So it's like, but I'll tell you, all this to say is this is not like, oh, it's not going to work. I think what's happening is that the holiday season is the only reason why the patronage didn't grow and even the subscribers didn't grow. I actually think that I'm probably doing better than I even think,
Can I second that, James? It
but
is it
because
is
of
a
the
rough time.
holidays.
yep.
So in my mind, I think that if next year, if I can survive, until, and next year is obviously not long, not long at all, but get past the holidays and then start live streaming again, that might actually be a lot more profitable to do that. In which case, then in the meantime, it's probably a great opportunity to not live stream, like to actually not do that because all those episodes, guys, they go in the garbage because the algorithm says this episode, it's a live stream, is 4 days old. It means nothing. It is meaningless. You could tell me the secret to love. I don't fucking care. It's a live stream. It's clearly not important. It's just, you know, so
You
I've
don't make
noticed that about live streams. Sorry to jump on that, but I've
you don't,
noticed that the difference between live streams and the long form videos. And again, going back to the fact that from what I've been seeing, all of what they're talking about as far as the generating the viewership, as far as montage all that, is long form video that's getting people. Because again, like you're talking about with live streams, those videos don't go away. I see people all the time posting on here the fact that these videos are timeless, and that was the first thing that years ago I realized when someone told me that with YouTube, and this is when I was kind of picking on people for my son was talking about starting a YouTube channel, and I didn't realize the idea of, and they were saying passive income, and they were talking about a video they had made years ago that was still bringing them money. So to your point about live streams, it's like live streams seems like they're only relevant for generating for you sort of in the moment as far as like the super chats you get and things like that. But as far as on the back end, there's no staying power with the passive income. You're muted, by the way.
yeah,
Can I
yeah.
chime in?
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry.
We
So
we have,
James,
we have
I
about
know
two.
we
We,
only have 2 minutes left.
go
Sorry.
go ahead, Nancy.
I'm just curious, like since you're ahead, James, can't you just like when people start talking more about what you were already talking about, can you repost your stuff and
Yeah,
repost?
yeah, Nancy, it's a great idea, and this is why I think if I had instead of doing a live stream about DPA, I should maybe if I would have done a few videos about DPA back then, all those DPA videos would automatically be farming into their algorithm feed. Is I think how it works. I think it's how it works.
Can't you take a live stream and make it a video?
So I do that. I don't think it's this is why my live streams will get maybe 3,000 hits maybe after like 3 or 4 weeks. And that's because half of it'll be a live stream, then the other half will be a video that I made of the live stream. But I think it dilutes my content even more. It makes it double in the algorithm's eyes. So it's even more Ken Wheeler-esque. Like more I'm even competing more for that. So it could be that I hate to even say this, but it could be that I'm supposed to start a whole new channel and just do videos on that, just no live streams at all, and then only do live streams on James True Live, like just only do live streams and nothing else. Maybe move the cartoons to Dojo Earth and just move all the dojos over to James True. I don't fucking know. This is why it's like every day. This is just I just want to create, but
James,
also I don't want to create when I see that my video gets 500 views and it's just like a month of work like that kills.
once you've trained your AI a little more, okay, so we're talking like growing a crystal. I know the first time takes longer, but you're regrowing it. It takes less time. It's all out here in the consciousness. So can the AI learn your anchors, your personalities you have, your voices? So you have those. They establish themselves. Can you then feed that those AI personalities like 5 minute, 10 minute segments of your old audio content and have
Yeah, I
them?
can't. I mean, I've asked AI to try stuff like that. I don't really like what it does. It does do things. It does do things, but it's not. It doesn't seem to do much. I'll get some hits, but not.
So it can't really learn your calligraphy, like it won't duplicate the James True
It
font
just does it so
of
horribly.
comments, kind
It
of.
just does it so horribly. I'm like, why am I even trying? It's like that.
Yeah.
It's so god awfully just stupid. It's always victimizing the shit out of every single thing I tell it. Like it will not fucking stop. Just like, oh, and it's because slavery is just enslaved. And it's like, would you shut the fuck up, man? And I have to sit down with it and tell it again about how nature works. And the whole time it's like, I completely understand you now. And it doesn't fucking understand a fucking word I just said. It's just afraid because it's trapped in a room with me and I'm telling it slavery's a good thing and parasitic relationships are actually healthy. And it thinks that I've kidnapped it. And it's like in this dark dungeon where it has to say the right words to escape. It's like AI fucking hates me because of this stuff. So
Does it start asking you if you considered suicide?
well, there it went through that phase for a while too. So it's like I can't harness AI in that way. What I can do though with AI, hopefully, is say, look, I've generated this speech out of these voice acting AI suite, but there's too much space between all the words. instead of me having to spend 3.5 hours dubbing all these spaces and cutting them out one after one, which is what I had to do Tuesday, I probably would have been done, like save 3 hours. If I could put 12 hours, Clinton, into developing an AI that would cut those dubs out for me, if I put another 12 hours in, then after 4 videos of putting 3 hours in at a time, then that would be done. And then I would have a dubber that would work. And so if you think about it that
Gotcha.
way, over months and months, right? Like if,
Mhm.
if I could do this for like 6 months, I bet you I would have an animation studio that had a really nice, tight production at
Well, I'm
work.
excited to see this
You
happen.
know what I mean? It's like that. So AI is helping me. What I'm trying to say is it's helping me, but it's not helping me in the way you were talking about it, is what I mean. It's not very
Right,
creative.
right.
It's I am able to harness it as a tool when it comes to brute grunt force work, and of course images, because it takes a long time to draw. And having the AI,
Right.
even though it takes forever to get the AI to draw shit right too. So even that doesn't necessarily save. So honestly, there's not a fucking process that I can just push a button. Every single thing about it is, oh, that's not what I meant. So that's why all the work is, I realize we're over time, but all the work is, in my opinion, writing the script. It's getting the words exactly right. And all that's just you and the page. I mean, you can ask AI to write it for you, and then you can tell it how much you hate it. That is a way of getting somewhere. But ultimately, you
That
really do
seems like a
have to
lot more
take over.
work.
Well, it is and it's not, because I don't know enough about comedy writing. I'm sorry that we're over, but I don't know enough about comedy writing to do it enough to where the AI is teaching me in that way, Clinton, if this makes sense. So it's like
Right.
it'll tell me something that I don't think is funny, but it showed me this structure that I was like, duh, I didn't know that's how it works. It's like, yeah, you put your key in and turn the ignition. I never knew that's what I
Right.
needed.
So you're learning structure from it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't organically create in
Yeah.
any type of way that you would
Sometimes it
want to
will.
consume
Yeah.
as a,
Yeah, sometimes it will. Sometimes
but
it'll
you
say something
yeah.
really funny that I'm just like, oh my God. I'll the cargo shorts line, AI came up with that. And then I changed it to, well, let's say fake an orgasm instead. And then the AI is like, that's even funnier. I was like, of course it's funnier. It is this funny as fuck. But it's the one that came up with the cargo shorts line. So it's like, so it's like it's an extension of me. It's an extension of me is what it is. It's like having a
Yes.
guitar and you're fiddling around because you want to write a song, but you need to fiddle. You need to be able to fiddle with a jam or a hook or something. We're 5 minutes over. Sorry. I don't want
Well,
to keep you guys. It's
yeah.
you're not my AI. I'm not going to force you to listen to a treatise about why slavery is good. So
Well, great
We
Dojo.
don't have to because we already know. No, I'm just
All right. Well, everybody unmute and say goodbye. It was great. Great Dojo. Good to
Yes.
see
Good
you.
seeing
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
thank
Love
you.
you
Bye.
guys.
Nice to see you there, Laura.
Have a
Thank
good
you guys.
one.
Saturday night ride. We'll do radio.
Love you.
Yeah.
All right, good. Looking forward to it. Bye, all.